Labour replace Keir Starmer as leader? We're asking now, would that make you want to vote for Labour more? We're taking your calls. So here's what happened. The boss of the UK's largest trade union has said she can't guarantee that Keir Starmer will remain the leader of the Labour Party after next May's local elections. They're widely predicted to be disastrous for the PM. Christina McAnea is General Secretary of Unison, also claimed the party had made a series of own goals since it came to power last July, as she called for a reset.
There's been so many other own goals. I think you do have to wonder, who's taking the decisions, who's dealing with the communication strategy. And I think it's time for a reset in Labour. It's time for the government to really look.
And will Keir Starmer still be the leader of the Labour Party after the May elections?
Who knows? I don't know.
You don't know? Well, that is very significant.
So, yeah, I was sitting, this was Laura Kuenssberg's show, and I happened to be a guest as well. So I'm sitting next to her just going, wow, a lot. That's all I had to do. And it was very interesting to hear that because she would be a paid-up Labour person and would be wanting them to win the next election. The latest opinion polls show Labour trailing the Nigel Farage party Reform UK. Do you think it's Starmer, this Nina?
Starmer is universally loathed, apparently, as a human being. But there's been a concerted campaign since the election by the right-wing press to not quite demonise him, but the point being that we had 14 years of absolute disaster, which left the country on its knees in almost every aspect. Financially, the railways, the National Health Service, the justice system, prisons full. And you can't just, and our borders leaky. And you can't just turn the immigrant thing off like a tap. You can't just suddenly build a prison. You can't just magic something. So people had to understand, and I think the communications were wrong. People had to understand this was always going to be tough. And they don't.
So you think he should be given some slack here?
Given a bit of slack. I mean, May is going to be the deciding time.
May's quite a long time away. I'm thinking he might have a problem before then. What do you think, Ron?
Well, he came in all guns blazing, Keir Starmer, promising that he would do everything different from the previous Conservative government. And then as soon as he came in, yes, you're right, the Conservatives had 14 years, but that was 14 years of putting out fires, of dealing with events, of COVID, of Brexit, of, you name it, we had to deal with it.
Disastrous prime ministers.
But we kept the economy strong.
I mentioned Liz Truss and the lettuce.
Well, Liz Truss or Rachel Reeves? I'd rather have Liz Truss than Rachel Reeves because look what she's done in the last 14 months alone. The last 14 months, the economy is tanking. The economy is
If she's tanking the economy, she's tanking it over 15 months.
Unemployment.
Hang on. Isn't the issue, Nina, that Starmer promised things he's had to renege on? And that's...
He has.
If they're going to raise income tax, that's game over, isn't it? Because they promised they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think, look, Labour are not going to give in. We've got them for another 4 years. I didn't vote for them, so I'm just looking at.
You're more Lib Dem, aren't you?
I am,
normally,
absolutely. But you also have to look at the other things, the positive side of things. On the world stage, that's very important. The fact of the matter is that he's somehow managed to forge a relationship with Trump, which is very positive, which not every leader has done that. And certainly Europe hasn't really done that. And we are now in a situation where we're not a laughingstock, which we were before.
I don't think
we're not a laughingstock.
I don't think we were a laughingstock in the world stage.
Boris,
listen. No. Keir Starmer
laughed.
was snubbed by Trump at the last meeting they had. He didn't even know who he was.
Oh, come on.
So the relationship there isn't...
I think you're wrong there.
It was. And in fact,
didn't Starmer handle him quite well, Ron? Seriously, Starmer handled Trump quite well.
Starmer was in the right place at the right time, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't see how.
I don't think, to be honest with you,
how can you say what was the right time and what was the right place?
His party sent activists to campaign against Donald Trump.
And so Conservatives spent...
No, we did not campaign against any political party outside of the UK.
Ron,
the
that's
Labour
a lie.
Party did.
Is that a lie?
That's a lie.
How is that a lie?
every party, Conservative and Labour, both send their representatives to America when the elections are on.
No, parties go to observe, but these were activists.
And
These were
you don't have-
Why does it matter? I mean,
look at social
the
media.
Conservatives are gone for the time being.
Yeah.
So the issue is Starmer sent some of his people. He seems to have got round. I mean, the thing is, Starmer has done one thing better than maybe anyone. He's got on with Trump. It's amazing. He didn't get shouted at like Zelensky. And that's probably because Starmer's a decent
I'll
I'll tell you why he got on with Trump. With Starmer got on with Trump. It's because of the special relationship. Of course, they had to get on. There is something bigger than the two of them, which is a special relationship. I don't give credit to Starmer at all for this, because I think that any leader, including Theresa May, who was there, including David Cameron, including not Liz Truss, including Boris Johnson, they got on just fine. It wasn't. They didn't snub each other.
But Boris was disastrous everywhere.
No,
Let's take a call.
Yes,
Okay,
he was
not.
But we can't say Starmer deserves to stay because previous leaders were disastrous. That doesn't work as an argument.
Starmer has had a very positive effect on international matters. And the thing is, it's very easy to write him off. But let's not forget what he actually did. When he came to power, Labour was completely unelectable. We just had
he
that.
became Labour leader.
Why are we going to international?
No,
this is about
I'm not
him
talking
at home.
No, I'm talking about here at home. Let me just say what he did.
Go on.
If you let me finish,
then
I'll explain what I said. When he was elected leader of the party, Labour was unelectable because of the whole Jeremy Corbyn faction. And in a few short years, he vanquished the left for the time, and Labour got this landslide victory. So he's
that's internal.
This is about the economy.
I said, don't write him off.
Okay.
He's ruthless, and he's pretty good at what he does.
But we've gone from international affairs, which may not be relevant, to party affairs. Ron is saying, what about the bit in the middle, which is ordinary lives in Britain? How is he changing them? And you're saying he needs a bit more time. Am I right?
Yes.
Is that fair? Okay. John in London, what about that? Give him a bit more time. He's only a year into the job.
Another joke. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, John.
I've said to you before on one of the earlier programmes that he was the worst Prime Minister in the history of Labour. He even makes Neil Kinnock looked like a politician. I mean, he was a complete failure.
Well, Kinnock wasn't Prime Minister, was he? I'm thinking we're going back to... I'm trying to think of a bad... He's worse than Gordon Brown, you think?
No, he's much worse.
Worse than Gordon Brown, right? Worse than Callaghan, Wilson? Yeah.
Also, they're arguing about what a good job he done in America. The only reason he got anything was that he had an invitation in his pocket from the King to come here again.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
That's the only reason. They've got absolutely nothing.
But John, might it not be the case this country is impossible to govern now? We are ungovernable. You can't find the money to spend on the public services people expect. So as soon as anyone becomes Prime Minister, 2 weeks later, they're the most hated person in the country. And that goes for anyone.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be PM. His idea is he wants to be a senior statesman like Tony Blair. He wants to be like...
Ron,
John, I agree with you. I actually think, Jeremy, that we are governable, but we need a leader who is actually looking at making tough decisions, and Keir Starmer does not make tough decisions. Look at we had to force him to make a U-turn on the winter fuel payments. He's completely ignored the farmers who've asked for not to be taxed. And now it looks like he's going to be hiking up more taxes again for us on the 26th of November. So if you can deal with the deficit, then you can govern this country. And the Conservative Party were doing that.
OK, yes,
I'll just say,
maybe.
Mel Stride, who's the Shadow Chancellor, at the Tory Party conference, when asked at one of these fringe meetings what he would do in this situation, he said he would raise taxes.
OK. John, thank you, in London. Peter in Wolverhampton, hello. What do you think? Is he gone?
No, I don't think we can replace him, Jeremy, until there's a candidate who is a socialist who is tough on immigration, and there's no candidate of that kind available.
Angela Rayner.
No, she's not a socialist, and she's not tough on immigration.
OK. Shabana Mahmood.
No, she's a dreadful character, not tough on immigration and too extreme.
Okay, your line's not good today, Peter. What's happening there?
I
Give it
don't
a
know.
wiggle.
Okay, I'm doing my best. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all right. It's crackling a bit. So you think he's safe because there's no one better?
There's only me, actually. I'm the only person who's a socialist who's tough on immigration.
I'm trying to think. Who socialist is tough on immigration? Yeah.
Shabana Mahmood is to give her. She's in the job weeks, for heaven's sake. You know, so she's a really tough cookie.
They're all, Peter, they're all getting tough on immigration. Now, we've had Yvette Cooper. There's another one saying she's got something like 7 different British flags in her house.
Yes, but you see, the country voted for Starmer because they wanted a soft left government, but they also, the right part of the country, wanted people to be tough on immigration. And we need to figure who's both, and I can't think of anybody except myself.
But surely, yeah, being soft left doesn't mean being... The two things are not it's almost exclusive. Thank you, Peter. Barry in Kent. Is Starmer done for? Because the person leading the Unite Union sounded brutal yesterday.
Yes, it is rather, but there's a lack of charisma amongst these politicians. You go back to Macmillan, Gateskill, Thatcher, Lord Helston, Brown. Boris Johnson had charisma, but he was a very naughty boy. And we need people with charisma, get up and go. And I cannot see a politician in any of the parties who has that kind of charisma to get the country together.
So, we are lacking that a little bit today, but that's probably the media's fault because we just punish people if they are too flowery.
Yeah. The thing that we dealt with, we had charisma in spades, Pat, with Boris. And he was disastrous, absolutely.
Ron, do you think Boris was disastrous?
No, I actually don't think so. I think he had the charisma. Yes, he made mistakes, as all humans do, but he paid for it. But I think this whole issue is not up to us. It's up to the Labour Party to look at the performance of their Prime Minister. The lowest rating since 1939 when the ratings started on prime ministers, and he's at the lowest. Now, you mentioned Gordon Brown and perhaps even who was quite lowly rated, but he didn't win an election. He actually took on from Tony Blair, as did Rishi Sunak, who was also quite unpopular, but he also took over from a serving prime minister, Boris Johnson. So if you think about how far down his rating has gone, it's unbelievable. And it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's because he has tanked the economy, and because to reservice the debt now is costing us £100 billion.
I don't think you can compare him to the disaster that the last few Tory prime ministers wrought on this country. You cannot compare him. The trouble with him, he has no charisma. It's true. He's wooden. He's at heart, I think, basically a decent human being, and he cares about things, but he has no communication skills.
He's not. He's a lawyer,
enough. Not a leader.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just not got that kind of killer instinct. He's what's the word? He's a herbivore, not a carnivore.
Yes, but I think
a lawyer, not a leader.
You're quoting Kemi Badenoch there.
Oh, is that right?
No, I'm actually quoting Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Sorry?
Was I quoting her?
No,
By
no,
accident?
I'm saying...
Oh, I see. Okay, Pat in Birmingham, hello.
Hello.
You've got a word on Jamaica here.
Yes, I'm just absolutely disgusted with Keir Starmer only offering £2.5 million
What for Jamaica?
for natural disaster.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know whether that's just the start of it or whether that's all we're giving.
It's just an embarrassment for us in the UK to hear that's all he's offering. I mean, Jennifer Lopez by herself has put through £2 million.
Wait, is that right? So I've heard that we put aside $5 million, so we are still ahead of Jennifer Lopez. But that's
likely. She's one person. We're an entire country.
Listen, the point is taken. It's amazing if true. But then again, people are, I guess, all constantly saying, why are we giving our money abroad?
People whinge about that. The thing is, Jennifer Lopez's economy is probably better than the British government's economy.
Well, possibly. She's not in deficit. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would say, private citizens, if they can contribute, they should contribute. And it's always the case with Red Cross and all the other institutions, which they do take in donations. And I think if anyone listening to this wants to donate, they should.
OK, Francis is in Northumberland. What do you think about Keir Starmer making it till May, Francis?
I think it's a catastrophe. Where is the fire in the belly of the Labour Party? They are becoming more conservative and innocuous. I quite agree with the gentleman who said that the leader, Keir, has no charisma whatsoever. Quite frankly, his sometimes I despair. Where is the fire in the belly of our party?
Well, isn't it the case that you can't, in order to change things, you've got to spend money. There isn't any money, so you just had to make excuses. That's what I was saying earlier on. What do they do? They got to raise taxes. They promise not to.
I've no idea, but quite frankly, they're just a nonentity. My Labour Party had fire in their belly, as I say, and they're just hopeless.
Who's your favourite Labour leader, Francis?
Well, there you go. You tell me.
Who's your favourite?
Not particularly any of them, quite frankly.
Not any of them. OK.
Francis,
but in the past...
We're going to have to move on.
Okay.
So Francis, I'm sorry. We're going to go to our next item. Thank you so much. Later, it's the papers and everything else. Find out why under 35s are more likely to adopt religion.